And welcome to another edition of Off the Glass here on BBB Channel 12, the Oak Ridge High School basketball show. Joining me is the head coach of the Lady Wildcats, Coach Paige Redmond. Once again, Coach, we also have a couple of your players here. We got a kind of a difference in classes there. We got a freshman on the left, that is Jade Schwingy. On the right, Brianna Dunbar. And so you've got, I don't want to say the past, the present, about to graduate, and the future.
Right.
Yes, and hopefully about 20 more games left.
Yes. I started to say, don't rush us out just yet.
Ladies, we're going to come back to you here in a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit with Coach Redmond about the last couple of weeks here. Coach, let's go back to Friday's ball game first. That was the Clinton game, and Clinton represents improved basketball team. I mean, we talked about that on last week's show. They've played really well at times this year. They came out and they played you tough. I mean, early on in the ball game. But you were able to prevail in the game.
Yeah, I think, and we struggled at times especially guarding Jasmine inside. We talked about that on the radio that night. That was, she if she gets the ball, she's going up with it and scores a lot inside for them. But I feel like just overall, it was just, we're a stronger matchup there.
While we talk about it, why don't we roll the highlights from the ball game played at Clinton. At the Wildcat Arena here, but Jasmine was the post player, and you did talk on the radio afterwards. It was she has improved so much.
Right.
I mean, really, and she's kind of like Madison Brady, who you're going to be facing on Friday. That around the goal, she puts the ball up, it's
right.
going to go in.
Yeah, and they came out face guarding Bree and Kamari in a triangle and two, and I don't feel like it was effective. We were able to get, have other people scoring, and Kamari, you've seen, coming off a steal and crashing the offensive board. So both of them found ways to score, even with their defense.
I was telling my cameraman last night, actually, that we have about 100 shots of Kamari stealing the ball and going down for a layup, or somebody getting a rebound, Bree tossing it down the floor to her. We're trying to have to get a little creative with her, but I want her to continue to do
right.
that, obviously, but I don't know if we need to have any more camera shots on that. And we have a lot of those, too.
Well, and that's a big part of our offense, is our defense turning into the offense and getting transition buckets, and hopefully that will continue.
Last several weeks, with the exception, I guess, maybe the Powell game, you've gotten a chance to play a lot of your players.
Right.
I mean, you have gotten, to use your bench. Unfortunately, in some of those games that we've talked about, and we're going to have some highlights from last night's game too, I don't know that it helps you all that much. Get ready for a game like you're going to play on Friday.
Well, I think it gives you a chance to go out and play against people that, just like Clinton throwing a triangle and two against us, and us in some zones and different things that we're not going to see in practice. We're not going to, necessarily, and we know our own tendencies in practice too. We know what we're running offensively and defensively, and so just playing someone else. And I felt like last night against Carnes, we started out the game really, really well, and I think that's a big key for us. How are we going to start games, and regardless of who we're playing, it helps us to get out and start games and jump out on people.
Because we were, if you remember back in the first part of the season, it was just the opposite. You would
right.
start slow, and then you'd have
right.
to come from behind, and that's kind of what happened in that Powell ball game too.
Right, and the Powell game reminded me a lot of our Jeff County game up in Greenville too. We got behind and we had to come back, and both games we put ourselves in a position to take the lead and never did, but. Hopefully we're working out those kinks, and we're getting ready to go into a stretch of some tough games to finish out our regular season and then go into the postseason.
Yeah, the schedule that you're about to get, obviously Campbell County on Friday, Cleveland on Tuesday, then East Hamilton on Thursday, and then Fulton on Saturday. How does that help you as a team?
I think it's good to have some strength in our schedule towards the end, because we're gonna. I said last night, and I'm not. No disrespect to Carnes, but that was our last give me game, so to speak, for the season. The rest, they're, and that's why we want to go out strong against strong teams, is to be prepared and not get into, we got into a stretch to where we weren't playing everybody. We were playing deep into our bench, and our starters weren't getting that much experience. And the next few weeks will give them a chance to regroup, regel, and prepare together in those games for the postseason.
Last night it was Carnes. Dylan, if you want to roll the highlights from last night too. Let's talk about that. I was thinking about this, something you said to me on the radio afterwards, after the ball game, just about, there's still things that you're working on and things that still you're trying to get them to buy in to, right? And especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, and we focused a lot on that in practice today. Worked on our half-court defense against some guys that we practice against, and I told them, I'm gonna be on you hard, and I'm gonna coach you hard, because we've got, in order for us to go deep, we're gonna have to get better defensively.
I noticed that I think last night, I believe the Bailey Trum girl I think she set the state record for 3-point shots, and it seemed like she did that the other night against us. It seemed like every time she or her sister put up a shot, it was going in.
Yeah, and I tell my girls, I could make shots too if I was wide open. We didn't guard her. When we guard, it's a little bit tougher to make those shots. Bree shot the ball well last night, from the perimeter. I felt like we shared the ball really well, and people got touches, and even in transition, sometimes we pass a little bit too much at times.
Playing a team like Carnes, and like you said, no disrespect to them, but does that make you better at all, except just to get the experience of the younger people to play?
Yeah, I think you can look at it two different ways. I know the first year I coached, everybody said, your district's not going to prepare you. And the other districts, talking about our region, they battle every night. They're prepared. You can't compete with them because you're not prepared. And I feel like, you can look at it, at least we don't beat up on each other every night. We're not worn out. We're fresh.
Right.
They get a chance to play. They get a chance to rest. And so far, in our first 4 years, that has gone well for us in the postseason. It hasn't hindered us in any way as far as level of competition of what we face and what we play. We just have to continue, regardless of who we're playing, to focus on us and work on the things that we need to work on and get better.
At this stage in the season, do you put in new stuff for them, or are you pretty much what you do is what you do? No,
we continue to do what we do. There may be some times defensively. We pretty much, especially when Rajay's in the post, we pretty much switch everything, because we play a lot of teams with 5 guards or potentially 5 guards. Now, we'll play Campbell County Friday night, and Brady, obviously, when we played them last, Rajay stayed on her and the other 4 switch. We'll do different defensive things like that, depending on who we play. But offensively, we'll continue to do the same things that we've been doing, and continue in the same press that we've worked on all year, and stick with our man-to-man.
I thought Selena played a pretty good game last night, coming off the bench for you. And
she did. She got her hands on some balls and pushed in transition. She did well.
You haven't played a whole lot of home ball games, and it's just crazy that you only have one left, and,
right?
One regular season game left.
Right. So. It is crazy to think about that. Seeing against Fulton, the one, and it's. I think it's good for us too, though. Here at the end, go 3 games on the road, because we'll get the district tournament at home, and hopefully the first around the region, and then everything else will be on the road for us, and hopefully not the sectional if we get there. But it'll help get us ready mentally.
Let's turn our attention over to the young lady sitting over there. We'll start with the youngest lady, Jade. Tell us a little bit about you. I know you're a freshman, one of 2 freshmen on the varsity right now, well, pretty much all the time. But you kind of haven't been with us a whole lot due to injuries. Talk about where you came from and what your strengths are as a player.
Well, I came from Knoxville. I moved here in middle school. So I went to Jefferson my 8th grade year, and then I came to Oak Ridge High School. And I'm just really honored to be on the team, really. I'm glad that I made varsity, and I can just learn from that.
The first part of the year, I saw you in a boot. It seemed like every single time I saw you, you were in a boot. And I know that had to be really frustrating, because I know you wanted to get out there and play. How did that happen?
I injured myself in Cleveland at the beginning of the season, really, and it was a really bad ankle sprain, and I chipped a bone in my ankle. So
Was that the Bradley scrimmage? Or?
No, it was a Cleveland freshman game
Oh, okay.
on a Saturday.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to Bree here for a second. Bree, this is your second visit to our show here. The last time you were with your other three seniors. I asked you, I guess that was maybe right before the season or right at the start of the season, how you felt the season would go. Have you been pleased with the way it's gone so far?
Well, I feel like every game we've lost this season we could have won, and I feel like right now in the season we're at a good spot, and I feel like we're just going to continue to grow throughout the season.
Well, let me ask you about you personally. Are you pleased with the way you have played?
For the most part, I feel like I'm shooting the ball well this season.
You are. I mean, you over 60 threes, which is that's incredible, Coach. And that's really good.
Right.
At the time since you've been here, we haven't really had just shooters.
Right.
Really, we've had some ones that could shoot a little,
Right.
but not shooters. And I would consider her to be a shooter.
Yeah, I remember, and I don't know if Bree remembers this conversation, but I went to her last year, and I knew Bree was a kid that had been in the gym and that had worked on her game and developed, and that was what had gotten Bree to where she was. And it was the beginning of her junior year, and it appeared to me the way she was shooting the ball in practice that she hadn't been shooting on her own outside of practice. And I asked her if she had, and she said a little, and I said, well, I need you to be able to shoot the basketball, and I need it to be this season. So I need you to get in the gym and work on it. And I think, and that just doesn't happen overnight. She's put the time in. And when you put the time in, you're going to be able to shoot the basketball.
Jay, let me ask you here, as a freshman, obviously, I don't know if, obviously Bree's not very intimidating. She's a really sweet girl. But I mean, as a freshman coming in with a lot of older players, how intimidating was that for you? Was that difficult for you at first, or were you nervous? Just to explain your whole mindset then.
At first, I was a little nervous because, you don't want to mess up or anything, but you get used to it, and I enjoy the challenge, and it's really helped me grow as a player to play with these older people.
Well, let me ask you about the older players, including Bree and the other seniors. Have they helped you along? I mean, have they given you advice, or they helped you as a player?
They've helped me as a player and as a teammate.
Well, Bree, let me ask you. I know you were in the same situation at one point years ago, and coming in, the roles kind of has changed a little bit now, and even last year too, as well as a junior and a senior. So, how did your role change as a leader to the younger players?
I feel like being a point guard, I've always been kind of a vocal leader, like even when I was a freshman. And I just feel like, because when I was a freshman, I wanted those seniors to, like, if I was in the game and I made a mistake, I wanted them to tell me just do better next time. So I feel like every time they're in the game, if they throw the ball away or if they miss a shot, I tell them to keep shooting or just let it go and get it back on defense. So I feel like just giving them little pointers like that will help them.
I'm trying to think back to your freshman year and who the seniors were. Who were they?
My freshman year, it was Courtney and Jamila.
Yeah, so you didn't have a whole lot, kind of a small group. Did they ever say things to you that kind of scared you when you were a freshman? That kind of like, oh,
No, not really. Jamila was always kind of like the mom on the team, so she was like that homebody figure. And Courtney, she's like a heck of a player. She's a great coachable player, so it's just somebody you look up to.
Jade, let's go back to you. I mean, did the older players ever just kind of give you kind of friendly, vocal, stern advice when you were out on the floor?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay, but I mean, Coach, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
There's a certain point where, obviously coaches need to be there, but you want them to coach each other, help each other. One of the things, I don't want them yelling at each other, and scream, because I'll look at them and say, are you making sure you're doing everything right first before you're going to correct? I don't want them correcting, but encouraging, like Bree said she does, and I know she does, I hear it, and just, and helping them to get more confidence on the court. That's what we want out of them.
I'm going to ask you some questions here. They're written down here. They're different. They're a little different from the ones that I've asked you. You know the questions there. I'm gonna put them both to you, and they're not typically basketball questions all the time, but I just want each one of you to answer in your own way. I'll start on that. Dylan's already laughing back there. What is your favorite kind of movie to go watch? kind of style, comedy, action?
I like scary movies.
Do you?
Yeah, I like comedy movies too. I like to laugh.
Well, I think Lauren came in here and said that she liked The Conjuring as her favorite. Is that the kind of movies that you like, or Insidious, or?
Yeah, I like scary movies as long as it doesn't have clowns in it.
Okay, like you didn't like it? No. Okay. Jade, same question.
I like comedy, and horror movies are good too.
What is your favorite movie? Either one of you have a favorite movie?
I'm not really sure I have a favorite movie. Just depends what mood I'm in, really.
Okay, next question is, obviously, Bree, I can't really ask you this question because you're a senior, but Jade, I'll ask you. Where would you like Coach Redmond to take you all this Christmas for a tournament?
I'm not sure. I mean, I enjoyed the beach trip this year. That was really fun.
Did you get in the water?
It was too cold.
That's my point. This is kind of a subtle push to Coach Redmond. It was really cold at Myrtle Beach this last year. But it was still fun, I agree, but it was a lot of fun. Coach, what did you get out of that trip? I mean, just let me ask you.
You know, I think I told someone this today. When we go away, this has happened the past 2 years. When we go away and we play teams, and even when we've gone to Greenville in the past, and we play teams that aren't just local that we know and that know us, there's just something. It makes us better because we just go in and play. I don't know. It's almost like it's a different mindset. Like it's more relaxed. It's more fun. It's just, and it gives them a chance to gel more. And plus, we're away and. You know, they get to spend that time together in their rooms or, you know, at the beach. And I mean, we try to do things, you know, to take them to have experiences with each other that will help them create some chemistry and some bonding. And I definitely, I was talking to our superintendent about the other day, it's worth the trip just for that experience in itself for our team.
Let me ask you, what was the best part about going to Myrtle Beach or Greenville for both of you?
I really just enjoyed bonding with the team and really getting to experience like how everybody played, and really that was my first time really getting to like understand like Wildcat basketball and the way that everybody played.
The time in the rooms was really fun this year, and I feel like even on the court, it's like better. Well, I don't want to say better, but it's a lot of fun because you don't know the teams, so you're just going out there not knowing anything, and you're just playing, and it's just a lot of fun.
Who's the funniest player on the team?
Hope Holt.
I say Hope for Kamari. She's pretty funny too.
Pretty much we get the same answers every week. Besides the Wildcat Arena, what is your favorite gym to play in?
I kind of like PAL. I don't know. I just like playing in that gym.
I don't know. Probably, yeah, Powell, because I have a better gym.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
What's a little known fact about you that people might not know?
I used to play soccer too, and then I picked basketball.
Okay.
Like I just said, I'm terrified of clowns, and I like to dance like all the time.
Would you like to
can we
dance?
sh- can we
Would you
show a
like to dance
video?
right here?
A video?
A video?
No. No.
This is kind of a strange question, but is there a good cop, bad cop coach on the coaching staff? You know what that means?
Yeah. No, I don't. I feel like they're kind of the same in some aspects. I feel like they work off of each other too. All the coaches do.
Yeah, they complement each other.
That's the way it should be, Coach. What's your favorite memory so far playing basketball at Oak Ridge?
Probably the trips, like Phoenix last year and then Myrtle Beach this year, were just a lot of fun, like building team bonding and just playing in a different environment.
Yeah, I enjoyed the beach trip a lot because I really got to meet like all of the players more rather than just inside the school.
What's your favorite sport to watch besides basketball?
Probably volleyball because I play that sport too. So.
Okay.
I would say football because I get to see my brother and my dad yell at the TV screen.
Okay. I'm going to ask each one of you, what do the coaches want you to work on the most in your game?
I would say mostly defense. We always work on defense. There's always room for improvement on defense. And like she said, shooting. Like I'm at a good spot now, but I can always be a better shooter. So
I need to work on my defense and shooting.
Greatest influences in your life?
Probably like my parents, because they just set a really good role for me.
yeah, my parents and my brother. Don't tell him I said that. But my brother, yeah, he's a really good person.
Who's the best? Are you the best dancer on the team? The question is, who's the best singer on the team? But are you the best singer and dancer on the team?
I'm both, most definitely.
Oh, you want to do it? You have a mic right there. You can. Okay.
I got stage fright.
Okay. Same question with Jade.
Yeah, it's Bree.
Jade, or actually, Bree, I'm going to ask you a question. I asked this question to the first group that came through here, and they've all answered you as this one. They say you pick the places where you'll eat when you're out places. Coach, did they not say that? That she picked because you were picky, I think, or something like that? That you...
Selena is the pickiest, and Kamari is very strong opinionated, so she's usually the one pushing for more food places.
Does she pick the places where you all eat?
Yeah.
Well, the truth has come out once again. So let me ask you this. What do girls worry about more than the guys before a basketball game? Kind of a sexist question.
I feel like when you think of girls basketball, you think of like we're in there fixing our hair and stuff. But really, we're just in there having fun. You know, we do a lot of singing and dancing before the game and a lot of laughing. So we're just in there bonding before the game, getting ready.
Do y'all get nervous before games?
Some games, I feel like more big games we get nervous for. But like I said, we're just in there having fun before the game, so it kind of calms the nerves.
So it's kind of a little different for you, though, being a senior. So you've kind of been through the wars a little bit. But let's go back to the state tournament. Were you nervous at the state tournament?
Yes, very nervous.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But I feel like once the ball tips off, then you just forget
Yeah,
all
you're
the
just playing
nerves.
ball because you've
Yeah.
done it all your life. Favorite athletes of all time?
LeBron James.
Probably, yeah.
I know, Bree, you're going to be going to King College, and I ask you this: why did you choose that school as your school?
Like everybody says, I feel like when you know, you know. And I went on my first visit there, and it was I loved the coach and I loved the team, and I just loved like how the campus was set up. Like it's not too big, it's not too small, and I also like the location. So like it's far enough away from home, but I could get back if I needed to. And my brother goes to ETSU, and my grandparents live 30 minutes away from King, so I just felt like that was a good place for me to go.
Good. Jade, do you want to play sports after high school?
I think that would be a really good goal to set for myself.
So how's the rest of the season going to play out for you all as a team? And what are your goals, and what will you have to do to reach those goals?
I think if we just continue to work on what we've been taught, we would really, succeed. But
Well, of course, we want to win a state championship. We got really close last year, and I feel like that's our main goal, but I feel like we're just taking it step by step. So we got to win the rest of our games in the regular season, then win the district, win the region, win sub-state, and then go to state. And I just feel like defensively, we have to keep getting better. And then mostly our offense comes from our defense, so if we can clean it up defensively, I think we'll be better.
Ladies, I appreciate you coming in once again, and good luck the rest of the way. As Jade Schwingy and Brianna Dunbar, members of the Oak Ridge Lady Wildcats. Coach, we have a few minutes here. Just talk about them as people and players.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier about Jade being hurt. It's unfortunate because she missed a big stretch of playing experience and time, but also just learning on the court, being out there with those girls. And but she's stayed in it mentally, on the sidelines, because when she is in, she's not, she's still got to work at a lot of things, but it's not like she didn't know what was going on. She knows she understands, and she knows the expectations, and she's a good athlete. A lot of upside to her. We just got to get that. She missed some time transitioning from middle school to high school that we've got to get that, but she won't have any problem with that. And I feel like, Bree's had a great senior year so far. You know, when you start to think about where we're at in our season, and you start you know, looking out and thinking, well, there's not that much time left. This is usually the time of the year as a coach where I start I don't panic, but you start thinking, you know, I only get to coach these kids, you know, the seniors, you know, so many more times, and it puts a drive in me. I want the best for them, you know, I want the best outcome, and so I start pushing a little bit more, and you know, I'm just going to enjoy going down the stretch with her and her teammates, and seeing where she leads us.
Campbell County on Friday, always tough. And I said to about this last night on the radio. I was like, Campbell County would like to be the spoiler. I mean, obviously you've got to beat Campbell County because I don't think Powell's going to lose, and to be co-champions. And you know, if they can't be champions, they want to be. They want to take you out from being champions. So Campbell County's going to be ready for you on Friday night. Talk about them.
Yeah, I mean, they're always going to be ready for us. I've told the girls, I tell them every time, we're always going to get the best of everyone. You know, and that's a credit to them. They've earned that, you know, so to speak. And so we're going to go up there in a tough environment. You know, that would probably be, if I were a player, that would probably be my favorite place to play, just because of the hostility and just the you know, the environment that we play in. But I know they're going to come after us. They've had a stretch where they've had some sicknesses and you know, a couple injuries, and they've lost some games that they probably shouldn't have lost. And had they had everyone healthy, they probably wouldn't have lost those games. And so they're going to have everyone back and ready to go full force.
Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
It's Paige Redmond, head coach of the Oak Ridge High School Lady Wildcats. You're watching Off the Glass. We're about to switch gears and move to the boys' side of things. We appreciate Jade and Bree for coming in as well. When we come back, we'll be talking about the boys' basketball team. We'll get to Coach Green in a moment.
Everything we do is in search of more go. If it can withstand 0 degrees, can it go negative 20? If it can run through 5 inches of water per hour, can it go to 6? We go. So it goes. So you can go. It's hard to stop a train.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do. Rinnai, hot water for all.
Train, extreme conditions testing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling.
We're always moving. Scratch that. We're always moving forward. But forward can sometimes look a little backwards. Or like circles. Or like nothing at all. But we never stop. We never stop because life never stops. It's hard to stop a train.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do. Rinnai, hot water for all.
Train, extreme conditions testing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling.
Welcome back to Off the Glass, the Oak Ridge High School basketball coaches show and players show. Before we talk to the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Aaron Green, let's flip it over there till we got two guys sitting there. We're going to have three in a moment. On the left, that's Flip Thompson. On the right, Isaiah Johnson. Kind of got a mixture of youth and experience sitting over there. And we'll talk to you guys here in a bit. Coach, let's talk basketball here. You're getting into the stretch run here. You only have one home game left, which is hard to believe after 3 straight here. You've come through a week where you played arguably one of your best rivals in the Clinton Dragons in a hard-fought game, very much anticipated ball game. And Dylan, why don't you go ahead and roll the Clinton highlights? A very anticipated ball game because of the closeness and the way you all won at Clinton. But you came through and you did about everything possibly well that you could do. I mean, you played extremely well in that ball game.
Yeah, I think our guys were ready to play, and not that they're not ready to go for every game, but they were ready to go in this one. I think there's been a little bit of chatter, with social media and stuff now. There's a lot of chatter goes, on before games and stuff. So I could sense they were ready to go. I didn't know, being ready to go and playing well are two different things, but they were ready to play. I thought, arguably probably the best game we've played all year, offensively and defensively. Offensively started with Jonathan Stewart. Obviously got hot and made 7 threes, and it's amazing what happens when you see shots go in. It's just it gets everything else going, and that was kind of what happened. I thought him making threes and us kind of making some jumpers, got us going defensively, and we were able to create some turnovers and get stops, and done a really good job on Winchester and Garner, I thought, defensively, and I thought that was a big part of our success in this game.
Garner's hit some. Winchester's got to get his points. I know it's just a matter of just not letting him get other people involved like he does.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's Winchester is a really, really good player, but he's not the only player they've got. And obviously Garner, Jackson Garner, I guess the week before set a school record, made 10 threes, I think, at Campbell County. Chase Lockard is another Coach Lockard's son, can really stroke it. He's the one that made the 3 at their place that put them up right there in the last 10 seconds. And, and they've got some good guys around them as well. So it's they've got a really good team. Unless some, I think Knox Central's got a couple of makeup games left, but, I think, Clinton will end up being number 2 in our district, and they've only lost twice to us, and I think they lost to Powell in overtime. So kind of the record speaks for that as well. But I thought, again, it was probably the best game we played for sure. There's Millway making a 3. Our press was good. We created turnovers. Our half-court defense was good. We rebounded the ball. We shot a high percentage. Now, you're not always going to shoot it like that, David. That's part of the game. But, fortunately for us, if we shoot it well, we're a ton better, which that's the case for most teams.
You have an inside. I thought the McCamey kid in the first game was pretty tough on you, but I thought you just dominated the paint inside.
We did. We had a good mix of inside out. And we've been pretty good at that all year long. Been able to get it inside to Millway to kind of have some balance there for us. And really Millway's helped open up a lot of the stuff we're getting on the perimeter. Because they've got a key on him. Here are we in press, and turn them over right there. It was a great trap, great read by Isaiah. And again, I thought our press, we did a few different things than we did the first time we played them, and I thought they were, as a coach, sometimes not knowing how effective they're going to be. I thought they were really effective. Some of the adjustments we made from the first game to this game, and our guys did a good job of executing the game plan and guarding guys the right way, and making sure we were rotating the right people, and not giving Garner catch and shoot threes, and not giving Lockard catch and shoot threes. And honestly, a lot of times that's easier said than done, especially when you've got a team that can spread you out and drive it and shoot it. So just really pleased with how we played, and and I think again, it's just one game, but it was a good win against a quality team.
I looked at the head-to-head. I think Clinton's already wrapped up number 2. I think they swept Central, I think. So.
Okay, so if it is
yeah,
tied.
so I think they'll get it, and that means they'll be opposite of you in the district tournament. So
Yeah, and his, and of course, I keep up with that a little bit, David. Honestly, you'd probably be surprised at how little I even look at that, honestly, because I know it's a postseason sport and it's a marathon, not a sprint. And honestly, that may help us some because we don't talk a lot about it. We just stay focused on trying to get better each day. And if you're focusing on the process and not the end result, I've always said a lot of the, most of the wins and stuff will take care of itself.
So that gave you the championship, and you got doused with water in the locker room because of it, Coach. Congratulations on that. Has that happened to you at Oak Ridge?
No, I don't think the water. Of course, when I got in there, they were, I think I mentioned this on the radio, they were, doing the water and all excited, which I was happy too. Good win, and like I said, I think some of the chatter and stuff, I think they're a little bit more motivated to play this one than some. I kind of got them calmed down as a coach. You're like, hey, we haven't done anything yet. It's we haven't given any hardware. And then I think Tim, because I think Tim's been the unanimous jokester on the team when we've asked those questions. He said something about, do you not get some win or something? And I said, and then that kind of got me dosed with the water. But it was really, really cold, Dave. I don't know how those football coaches do it on the ice in the dead of the winter.
Coach, last night you obviously played a Carnes team that you had really kind of pounded really over at their place. You started out slow, actually trailed by 1 at the end of the first quarter, and you didn't, it was a different kind of a junk defense, I guess. I don't know, junk's not deep. I guess that's the way. It's something you don't see normally. And your team kind of took a little while to adjust to that.
Yeah, Milway was sick the day before, so he didn't practice, and so he didn't start. So, and it seems like, every time we've had that situation, I think Isaiah was sick one time before a game. He didn't start. It seemed like it gets you a little bit out of kilter, I guess is the way I would put it. Starting the game, you got Miller playing the 5, which he hasn't played a lot this year, and so it just kind of gets you discombobulated. And a lot of the play calls and stuff that you run, you got people in different spots. So I think that contributed a little bit. And Carnes is not a bad team. I mean, they played well the first quarter, and they played a diamond and one, which we really hadn't seen. And I don't think it gave us that much trouble. I just think mainly our different people in different spots I thought affected us more than the diamond and one did. But it was one of those, I remember in timeout, I was like, look, guys, and I think I said this on the radio, we're not going to be up 15 or 20 every game. Just relax, take a breath, don't, play ball. It's okay because we're not winning by 10 or more. So, and I think we finally settled in and did a good job and held them to 46 points, which I was pleased. And didn't shoot it as well, but again, that happens. And you end up winning 66-46, so it was a good win.
Yeah, Hawkins, I guess number 3, he's fast as lightning. I mean, nothing against Isaiah and the guys, but he was fast.
He is. He's a really good. He's got a lot of speed and quickness, and he's not known as a 3-point shooter, and he made 3 threes last night, which I thought was probably he ended up with 20. 9 of those coming from the 3-point line. That's not really his strength, and sometimes you got to give up something on a guy that can get to the hole like that, but. But again, it was a good win. Honestly, I think they're right in that mix of got enough talent and enough athletes to, if they play well, they can cause you some problems.
Well, just look at last year. I mean, last year, they marched their way to the championship ball game and had you beat almost. If it wasn't for Marcus there in the fourth quarter.
And I think their record, now is about similar to what it was last year. I think they're about middle of the pack. And of course the district tournament was at their place. And they got it going at the right time, and they have that capability this year. I mean, they've got 3 or 4 guys that can play, and they've got, they could definitely be a team that can get hot at the right time. But again, this is in the second half. We started to get some stops and got it out in transition. There's Preston on a layup, and that was on a Jonathan Stewart rebound, offensive rebound kick out to Miller. So, again, just, we shared it. There's a nice block by Milway. He's done a lot better job of that the last couple weeks as far as shot blocking and protecting the rim. There's Isaiah on a 3. But again, we've got several guys on any given night that can be our leading scorer. I think that's one of the reasons we've had success, and our record is what it is because we've got good balance, not only with guys that can score, but also score inside and out. So that's one of the key factors of success we've had up to this point.
And you won the ball game. It ended up being by about 20, I guess, or so. So it's another district win, and you're 13-0, I believe, in the district with an opportunity on Friday to close out the district schedule undefeated. And you've done that. You've done it 4 times previous. A little harder, actually, a couple of those years. I think Gibbs was still in the district, and you had to go 16-0 to do it. But you've won the regular season championship, And I was looking at it this way. That's, to me, would be the next goal. I mean, let's do
Right.
that. Finish
Yeah.
out the district undefeated and then go to the tournament.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we haven't really talked about. We may have a little bit as far as going unbeaten, but we've got one game left. Obviously, want to end on a good note, and then lead us into next week, which I'm sure we'll talk about. We've got a tough stretch of games next week, and obviously want to get going into that stretch on a winning note. And as Coach Redmond said, Campbell County's a tough place to play, and regardless of the record, they'll play us. They'll play their best against us, and they'll be ready to go.
Let's turn our attention to the guys over there. And from the left, that is Kel Slater. In the middle, Flip Thompson. And on the right is Isaiah Johnson. Well, Isaiah, you've got the mic, so I'm going to start with you. And you're the only senior on the basketball team. And how does that played out for you? I mean, I know you have to be, and you're not really a talkative guy, but I guess as a senior, you have to be a leader. Is that something you have tried to be this year, as being the only senior?
Yeah, I just ain't never had, I just never been the only senior on the team, through all my years.
Let me just asking you to put the mic up a little closer. You're a point guard, obviously, so you have to get everybody else involved. You've got a nice shot. Talk about your game and how you think you've played this year, not only as the point guard, the distributor of the basketball, but as a shooter and a defender.
I just say that again.
Just how do you think you've played?
Not too bad.
Not too bad?
Yeah.
Coach, how's he played this year?
He's played well. He's been obviously one of the key reasons we've had, had the success we've had at this point. He's, he usually gets the toughest matchup of the other team's best guard. And the way we play, he's in good condition. He's shooting the ball better than he did last year, and he's hard to cover. I mean, he's a guy, if I were scouting him, that would make me a little nervous of trying to keep out of the paint. He shares it and has done a good job. He doesn't have to be talkative to be a great leader. I think he cares about winning. He wants to win. He's a team player, and again, when your point guard's that way, most of the other guys will follow.
Coach, let me get you to talk about Flip before I ask him a question or two.
Yeah, Flip is probably one of the better shooters on our team. He's a guy. Over the next 2 years, it's going to be a huge contributor for us. Obviously, I don't know if most know, he's Herbert's brother. He's similar to Herbert. The games are similar. But he's had a good year, and but he's one of those guys. If we were, seeing zones and needed some threes made, he'd be a guy. Again, if we line them all our guys up, he's one of the better shooters on the team.
Flip, let me ask you about that. Generally, do you have a sweet spot you like to shoot from? Usually, you're right at the top of the circle and you pop them in. You have a spot on the floor you like to shoot?
No, I can shoot from anywhere. I feel like.
A little closer.
I feel like I can shoot from anywhere.
Talk about that. Do you work on that? Is that something you work at? Are you a gym rat, like to be in the gym shooting?
I shoot here and there.
Here and there?
Yeah.
Okay. Coach, is he a gym rat?
Yeah, he is. He's of course, as they know, they could be in there all the time. I'm wanting them in there more, But yeah, I mean, I think anybody that can shoot it, spend some time in the gym, and he's definitely put in that time.
Kel, let me ask you this. I'm not the coach on the team, and I don't know, but next year I would assume that you might take over the role that Isaiah currently has, Coach. I'll let you talk about Kel here.
Yeah, Kel's, he's probably, in my opinion, probably one of the most improved players from the start of the season until now. He's gotten more confidence. He's gotten I go back to the Cleveland game, which is probably one of the tougher teams we played all year. I think he had 11, and he's done a good job coming off the bench and giving us a spark. He's getting better every day, and he's one of those kids that is going to be a really, really good player before he graduates.
Kel, how do you see your role on the team? Just you personally, how do you see your role?
My role on the team, I'm pretty much trying to be productive, trying to create other people's shots as well as my own. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
One thing that you do well, I think, is you attack the rim. I mean, you like to go into the middle against. Is that something? I mean, because you're not the tallest guy on the floor there. Is that a challenge to you?
It is, but I've been working on my finishing a lot. That's the best thing I'm at, and I'm really trying to work on my jump shot this year.
Coach, I think he's almost fearless sometimes. So sometimes I think there's no way he's going to get through there.
Yeah, no doubt. He's he's finished some plays. He talked about finishing. He's finished some plays that that were tough finishes, what we call tough twos. And but again, I think his aggressiveness offensively has gotten a lot better over the course of the season. I think starting the season off, he was probably a little tentative, being a sophomore and trying to kind of find his way. But he's kind of settled in now, and again, is very aggressive, got a lot of confidence, and we need that, especially coming off the bench.
Isaiah, let me talk to you again. You guys made it to the sectional game last year against Sevier County, one game shy of the state tournament. What's it going to take for your team? It's your team as the senior leader on the team. What's it going to take this team to get back past that to the state tournament?
I think we should focus on like the next game and not the past.
Okay. What kind of things does this team need to work on, you think, to get better as a team?
I think because we get in the gym a lot, but stay in the gym, probably pressing. Like when we press, we good at it, but like we can always get better.
Do you personally, do you get a bigger kick out of giving an assist to somebody who gets a dunk, or you hitting a three-point shot?
I like to dunk. It's more hype.
Right. Flip, talk about this team and how it has been for you being on this team this year, getting a chance to play some, and your role as a player on this team.
Well, it's been fun. Well, when I come in, I just do what the coach asks me to do.
That's the best attitude you can have, Coach.
No doubt.
Kel, I don't want to embarrass you. You have a sister that played basketball here, one of the better ones we've ever had. Can she beat you one-on-one? We're talking about Jada Gwynn.
She's beaten me before, but we haven't played in a while.
You were little, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I would take Kale on that one. No offense to Jada.
Isaiah, you're probably familiar with these questions. I'm going to ask each one of you. I'm going to ask you questions, and I'd like for you to answer them the best you can. And you've probably seen this in football, Isaiah, maybe. What's your favorite kind of movie?
Probably The Maze Runner.
The what?
The Maze Runner.
Okay.
Something like that.
Flip?
I like watching Space Jam.
Space Jam?
Yeah.
Star Wars. I like Star Wars.
Okay. Keep the mic there. Just go ahead and keep the mic there. What's your favorite sport besides basketball, if it's your favorite sport?
Football.
Okay.
Same as well, football.
Yeah, I kind of figured you obviously Isaiah was our leading receiver on the football team this year. Incredible catch against Powell. I want to ask you about that. I think it was Powell. Was on the sideline there. One-handed grab. Obviously you made some nice catches during your career at Oak Ridge, but talk about that play in particular. The guy was holding on to you. I wish I had the video here. I should have brought it. The guy was holding on. You had a one-handed catch on the sideline. Talk about that play.
I really wasn't expecting it. I just looked up, put my hand out, and it really just stuck to the ball. It stuck to my hand.
Was that the best catch you've ever made?
I didn't even try to do it. It just did. It happened.
I wish I had the video. Coach, I'm going to bring the video next week. He might not be with us.
Oh, that was a TV game. I was watching it on TV.
Yeah,
so,
it was incredible.
Yeah, it was
incredible. I didn't think there was any shot. Of course, I was all the way across the field from him. But what person, living or deceased, would you like to meet? Both of you, all three of you.
I would like to meet LeBron.
Okay.
Michael Jackson.
LeBron too. Yeah.
What team not on the schedule would you have liked to have played this year?
Catholic.
Catholic? Okay.
Catholic.
Isaiah, do you have an answer? Okay. What's your all's favorite ice cream?
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Cookies and cream.
I was about to say, the first two are pretty vanilla answers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Favorite athlete of all time? Start with Kel.
Kobe.
Kevin Durant.
Well, that catch you made was very similar to some of his catches. Who's the biggest joker on the team?
You already know this. Tim.
Stafford or Tim.
Tim.
What makes Tim so funny? Everybody has said that.
Like we'll be talking about something serious, and then he'll just start like he'll just talk about something so off topic for no reason.
Coach, do you agree with their assessment?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Then Tim's a jokester. You know, of course, he's a type of kid that's, you know, he makes things fun. You know, halftime you don't know if he's serious or not, but yeah, I would agree.
Isaiah, what's your favorite memory playing basketball at Oak Ridge?
Memory.
Any particular game you played well, or a big game environment that you played in?
Probably that I remember. Clinton last year in the district at Carnes.
Okay. Flip.
I like when we first played Carnes, when Stafford got his first dunk against his opposing team.
Okay.
Cleveland when we played them at home, because I felt like we were playing at our best, even though we lost.
I'm going to ask all three of you, can you all dunk?
No.
No.
Not consistent.
No, okay. I don't know if you'll understand this question, but especially with Coach sitting here, is there a good cop, bad cop coach on the coaching staff? Do you know what that means? Does one of them, Coach, you want to explain?
Yeah, like
He's the hard guy.
Hard guy.
He's the guy who's going to get in your face. Is there somebody that, when he walks away, that comes over and kind of smooths things out a little bit? Kind of awkward to hear, Coach, right?
Probably Coach Scott.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
If
was
I had to
honestly
pick, yeah,
thinking.
if I had
He's
to, yeah.
kind of his personality. Greatest influences in your life?
Probably my brother.
My sister.
My mama.
Are you all afraid of anything?
Spirits.
I don't like snakes.
Spiders.
What's the funniest thing that happened to you on your trip to Nashville? In the hotel, eating, whatever?
Stafford at Blaze.
Oh, the way Stafford eats pizza.
What happened?
He just eats his pizza super weird. He's
Like a wolf.
Besides the Wildcat Arena, what is your favorite gym to play in? Wow.
I like the Webb gym.
I mean, any particular, like, Clinton's pretty fun to play in. I don't know. Isaiah, do you have a particular gym?
Probably Webb or Carnes.
Okay.
Yes.
Kel.
Carnes.
Isaiah, you're the only senior up here. The rest of them are underclassmen. I'll ask all three of you. Isaiah, what do you want to do after high school? Do you want to play sports in college? What do you want to, football, basketball?
Probably football, but I wouldn't mind playing basketball either.
Okay. Flip, do you want to play sports after high school?
Yes. Basketball.
Kel.
Basketball.
Okay. Guys, I appreciate your time. Anything you'd like to say before we close it out? Shout outs to people who might be watching you?
Timothy.
Well, guys, appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way. Okay. There's three members of your basketball team. Not the most talkative, but, you know, they're all each have their own personality.
Yeah, they did a good job. I thought, you know, it's interesting to hear the answers to those questions because, you know, sometimes you don't. I mean, you obviously get to know your players, but, you know, a lot of those answers, I'm kind of curious to see what they say, so it's good to hear them.
Coach, Friday, Campbell County, we talked a little bit about that. Before our next show, Tuesday, you go to Cleveland, still the #1 team in the state, unless they've lost. I think they're like 25-0 or something like that. So you got your final district game Friday, and then a biggie on Tuesday on the road.
Yeah, when we set the schedule last spring, you know, that last week, you know, we kind of intentionally set it up the way we set it up. You know, we at this time of year, it's, you know, your practices are shorter, and, you know, you've played a lot of games. You're just kind of making sure you're fine-tuning everything, you know, shots and scout, and But this last week, at Cleveland, who's the #1 team in the state, I thought we had a chance, gave ourselves a chance to beat them here, and just didn't make enough plays down the stretch that Wood as a player. So it'll be good to go back down there. Their arena was kind of built really after our arena. Looks very similar. I coached there for 7 years, and they play Maryville on Thursday at Maryville. So if you don't have anything going on, that's tomorrow night. That's probably a good basketball game.
You gonna go scout them?
I will if my son gets better. He's sick, so
yeah,
I may be home with him. But my dad's going, and I don't know if the other assistants are, but we'll definitely scout it. But that's a good game to watch. Those are 2 top teams in the state, and it's for me that last week. You've got Cleveland on Tuesday. You go to East Hamilton on Thursday, who only lost by 4 to Cleveland.
Saw that
this week. And then you have Fulton at home, which is always a juggernaut, and so it's going to be a great week. I know it obviously starts with Cleveland, and it's 3 games where we'll have to play well to have a chance to win. We've had some games over the last 3 or 4 weeks where you wouldn't necessarily have to play well to win, because you may have more talent, and these are not 3 games. I think these 3 games are the 3 games, 3 games that you can play that'll get you ready for tournament.
It's just hard to believe that you only have the 4 games left, and then it'll be done. It seemed like just the other day you were tipping it off. The girls against Meigs County, and you guys against Hardin Valley. It just seems like the other day.
It's flown by, and it usually does. You get to this point of the year, you think, man, it's February 5th. District tournament's right around the corner, and this time of year is really probably the funnest for me. As a coach, because tournament's getting ready to start. You know me well enough, David. You've been around me now, I guess, 10 years, and you really play all these games to get ready for this postseason.
I quoted you last night on the air, actually, saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think we've played a tough schedule, and obviously we got 4 games left, and I think again, as a coach, you're just trying to get your team in a position to hopefully play their best come postseason, and everybody. The good thing about basketball, everybody makes the playoffs. It's not like football, and everybody starts 0-0, and it's a fun time of year for sure.
Coach, one of these weeks, hopefully we have several weeks left, I'm going to ask you those questions.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just to get you the answers to that question, because yours will be a little bit broader, I think.
Right.
You've played in a lot of, not only gyms, you played in a lot of arenas, too, when you were at UT. So I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. That'd be fun.
Yeah, get these players out of the way here. No, just kidding. Coach, any final comments before we close it out?
No, just looking forward to going to Campbell County on Friday, and that's always regardless of records, that's always Coach Redmond said it's always a great place to play. There'll be a good crowd there. They'll be ready to go, and again, you can throw all the records out the window, and they'll play their best and play hard against us, and then obviously after that game, we'll get ready for a tough week. Probably the toughest 3, maybe I guess 3-game stretch that we've had all year. Maybe in Nashville could compare. Right. But again, that's you're going to play good teams back-to-back nights in the postseason, and that's why we set it up that way. So it'll be a good experience for our guys.
Coach, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, David.
It's Aaron Green. This has been Off the Glass, the Oak Ridge High School basketball show. We appreciate Dylan in the back. We'll be back here next week, 7 o'clock here on BBB Channel 12. Until next week, this is David Clary saying so long, everybody.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do.